Network. I am Mike. With me is Kev, Josh, and Liz. The Hounds got a dominating 4-1 win over the Lights this weekend, and now all attention turns towards the Columbus Crew on Wednesday. Let's go!
Trying something new. Okay.
Trying something.
Beautiful. So pretty.
Yeah, gotta mix it up every so often. Kids, how we doing? Liz, welcome back to the show. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
You've been busy?
Always.
How was the wedding this weekend?
It was great. It's at the Roxy Inn. I don't know if you've been there for a show or if anyone's been there for shows. But so you got to sit up in the higher part and watch them get married on the stage, and then dinner was on the main floor, and then you danced in the pit, and eventually we got up on stage with the DJ. It was really pretty.
Yeah, it was weird to actually be on the stage being like, I've watched like Bad Religion and Anti-Flag and the Interrupters here, and like just being on the same stage. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Kev, what were you up to this weekend?
Nothing. We can move on.
Fair enough. Let's move on.
Kevin's just like, pass.
Yeah, pass. That's what I should start saying. No, literally not. Just very normal, bland weekend. Nothing.
Villa didn't ruin your weekend at all?
No, They played really well. Villa looked good. I still think you should have got a red card when Ming.
I still haven't seen it. Yeah,
karate kicked Gakpo in the chest, but
I was the backstory is I was all pumped because Villa was playing Liverpool this weekend. If Liverpool needed to win, not entirely, but to keep Champions League hopes in their hands, and Villa needed to get something to try to get Europe. And so, Kev, I texted you right before the game started. I was like, good luck. But I failed to mention to him that Friday, out of nowhere, we just stopped having water. And I was like, oh, that's a fun thing. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
So what do you do as your first instinct when that happens? To me, I go to Target and I get like distilled water like crazy.
So we already have distilled water on hand for like drinking water. Our biggest concerns is like toilets because we just can't flush toilets. And so
you're out there in the country. You guys are just you
have trees,
right?
You're fine.
I know.
They also have bears.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, all true.
Just clap.
No, I mean, we literally there's a couple streams. We'll go fill up some buckets of water, and it's more of an annoyance than anything else. And so we had a plumber come out Friday, and he looked at it. He was literally like, I have no idea. And I was like, oh, that's so comforting. Thank you so much.
It's terrible.
And so we were able to get a hold of a guy who actually does like wells. Like he digs wells and installs wells. And so he came out Saturday morning, and they showed up right before the game started. So I had like the game on, but I was also outside like looking at the well and trying to figure stuff out with this guy. So I missed all of the first half.
So was it
I had a what's that?
Was it the pump?
It was the pump. Yes. The electricity running to the pump. We pulled the pump all the way out, and at the very bottom, the power cord running to it had like split in half. So there was just no power running to the pump. And I was like,
but that's like a better fix than it could be.
Oh, they fixed it. We have water again, so that's great. It was super comforting that 100 feet down, an electrical wire just split in half. Like no reason. Fine. Just no big deal.
I want to try that at like one of my next meetings. When they ask me about something, I should be like, I don't know. Like I just, I can't tell you. I have no idea.
I've done that in IT many times. Walk up to the desk and they're like, "It won't work." And like, "What's wrong?" I'm just like, click on things like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't work." I
don't know. I had a whole rant here that I was gonna go on. I'll just bring it up. It's related to the Premier League.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, City won again. I think this is their 5th win in 7 years, something like that. The whole guard of honor thing that they do at these games is so stupid. So City won while they weren't even playing. They won because Arsenal lost. And so when City played Chelsea, Chelsea lined up on either side of the tunnel and clapped City as they walked out. And I'm like, but the same thing happened for Barcelona when they won recently. And I'm like, this seems to be a thing. And it is so stupid.
Has this always been a thing in EPL? I don't know. We're never near the top of the, so I've never actually watched that part of it. So I'm just confused.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, traditions are stupid.
It's so stupid. Like Chelsea had nothing to do with it. Like, what did Chelsea do to have to deserve to stand there and clap City as they walk onto the field?
They didn't spend as much money.
Clearly,
and that's their fault.
I sent you guys the image. What City had over 500 million sitting on their bench this weekend. Like, yeah, that's insane. Anyway,
still salty about Grealish, I see.
It's okay.
He was like 117 million. Like, it's insane. But anyway, it looks like, almost all of our teams have something to play for heading into the last weekend, which is kind of fun.
I mean, you have something to play for, Josh.
Yeah, you could say that.
You do have something to play for.
Thank you, Newcastle, for not, third place Newcastle, for not being able to get a single goal against Leicester. What are they, 14th place, something like that? No, they're farther than that. I can't remember. But just thanks a lot. Thanks.
But hey, it's like, it's in your hands, right? Like, if Everton win,
well, that's not good.
That's funny.
Kev, you're relying on Liz and Fulham to get something out of Man U so that Liverpool make Champions League.
I mean, at this point, it's highly unlikely. United have to lose both of their last games, and Liverpool have to win, and it's just I don't think it's going to happen. But
you're welcome.
I think I'm just having fun at this point.
Best place to be.
Top 10, man. Like, yeah.
It's been a great season to watch. It's nice to see that a lot of the players that have come up from the championship have done very well this year, especially Mitrovic. I mean, last year was just, or not 2 years ago, was just abysmal. And then it was really rough, and you didn't know if he was going to make it in Premier League. And this season, they've just continued to mesh, and I like that they brought a lot of the players up with them. I think it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
I like him as a striker. I think he's good. He's just like a person that's going to fight for everything. Like, you want to play alongside him. Scores goals.
I used to hate the middle of the table. Being like, there's nothing really going on. Never thought I'd say this, but I miss the middle of the table. It's like a non-eventful season would be nice at this point.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you legitimately put your odds at
I think they're going to pull it off, actually. I really do. But it's just every year, like 2 years in a row now, being like, oh, God, don't go under. Like, their stadium's almost done. They're almost in this beautiful new stadium. I got a feeling like once they're done building that, they'll have money again to actually buy players that, don't get injured all the time. And put our whole league and our whole future in jeopardy. So we're almost there. Just gotta last another season probably, and we'll be at that new stadium.
Yeah, Chelsea's gonna have to have a fire sale, so you might get a lot of players at a discount rate here.
We can't
the season. Oh man, yeah, and then it's gonna be me versus Laura Ellen and Justin. Villa versus Brighton. If Villa win, they basically have their destiny in their hands. If they win, they keep Spurs out of European spots and they get a European spot. I think Brighton has a European spot locked up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're fighting for that's cool.
Yeah. It's like Europa Conference League. Like, it's not the Europa League, but it's still Europe. Which, considering that we were in the bottom 3 earlier this season, woohoo! So that's cool.
I don't know if you guys been following the what do you call it? Ted Lasso show, but his comment about Brighton and Hove Albion being like playing against a law firm now.
Yeah. The most recent episode, just shot after shot at the Super League was great. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. As JF says, though, let's go Hounds. There's a subtle transition for us. Let's talk about the Hounds, guys. The Hounds played Vegas. Vegas came to town this past Saturday. A commanding 4-1 clinic. I mean, really. And I think the brightest spot, or one of the brightest spots, is the fact that we got 4 goals and Chico didn't get any of them, which, I would not have put money on before that. We got 2 goals from Kizza, 1 from Ordonez, and 1 from Griffin. Low key, Griffin should have 3 goals in 4 games, which is kind of insane. I would have not had, like, all things aside, I know we talk about him a lot. I was not expecting 3 goals in 4 games. So, like, I was expecting more holding mid kind of thing. Kev, give me a takeaway from this one.
Josh, were you about to say something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say.
Oh yeah, sorry.
The most important part of the show, guys.
We've been doing this for how many years, and every single week I screw that up. So yeah,
it's because every week it's just we're on the fly, we're improvising here.
To be fair, the first couple of years we were doing the show, we didn't have very many of those. So
that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, for this game, yeah, I think. Okay, so this is absolutely not the main point and not the main takeaway. But you mentioned the goal scorers there. I'm a little annoyed that Ordonez scores in this game when we didn't need him to. I want we score from a corner from our center back in a game where we're not firing, up front, everyone's off, and then we need a goal from somewhere. We get a corner, and then the big center back comes up and heads it. Like that's and it always feels like kind of a waste. Like when, I don't know, I'm a firm, but like you only get a certain number of goals a season. And let's not waste it when we're already 2-0 up and playing really well against Vegas.
You have some weird feelings about soccer, Kevin.
I do.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the Hounds struggle for 83 minutes, and then we get across, and it's going to be amazing. Why do you waste?
You know me so well. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's okay for him to score multiple times. He can do this again. It's okay if we don't have a struggle bus game. That's fine.
This is the nice counterbalance that's needed to what I just said. Yes. No, for sure. But no, I mean, great game. I struggle to point out anyone that had a bad game. I know at the beginning of the season, with different personnel and with different shapes, maybe like different formations. I remember saying, I think Josh, you might have said it too. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I at the beginning of the season, I think our weakest part of the team were our fullbacks, and now I think Blackstock and Failing had incredible games this game. Both of them were really threatening throughout the entire game in an attacking sense. I mean, they've kind of locked down those 2 positions. I never would have thought that they belong in those positions. I would have thought that their positions are elsewhere, but it works for them. I think Lily's kind of solving problems and finding places for players that might not seem obvious. I think Griffin is another example, Mike, like you said before. Last season Griffin is deeper and more defensive. Now he's higher up the field, and I think it suits him. I mean, he contributes to this energy that Dequa leads by example with, and to have Griffin behind chasing down as well, and having Forbes and Etu, 2 players with incredible vision and reading of the game, who can see what's happening in front of them and then step in and work on the play. So no, it was a great game. It was a really good performance. Good performances all around from all the players. The only small stain on it is we yet to not get a shutout. It felt like this was, shutout would have been nice, really, really nice here. And I'm not really blaming too many other people, because what can you do when you take a long shot and you get a wicket deflection and it goes in? It's okay, it's one of those unfortunate things, but would really want to see a shutout soon.
Liz, what'd you think?
And so watching the first 20 minutes, I think we got a little bit lucky that they couldn't put it on frame. A lot of shots went wide. I think they Lights had quite a few chances. And if 1 or 2 of those had gone in the first 20 minutes, I don't know if we would have had the composure that we did the rest of the game. But other than that first 15, 20 minutes, I think it was a great game. I mean, I really liked what I saw, especially Etu cleaning up passes that were going just a little bit off or a little bit wide. He got down and he did slides to pass it to the next person to get the ball back in frame. I do think that when we reset kind of far back for my liking. It makes me a little nervous, but that might be, just past seasons of not seeing a cohesive team. It worked for him this time, but I'm worried about that.
That's fair. Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I actually wouldn't say this is the best we've played this season. Even though honestly, this is more about Vegas being not great. At least during this game, I know they've gotten results with how many away games they had. I know they haven't won a game yet, but at the same time, they played so many away games and like they've gotten a lot of draws. So it's kind of that's what you need to do. And when they've played mostly on the road so far, you can't really expect them to be doing all that great. But they did not look good this game. At the very beginning, I was actually thinking, Kevin, you've made the comment before, like they get a yellow card within the first 2 minutes, and it's because they had a reckless challenge because they couldn't control the ball and they lost it, and they instead of they're trying to chase the game, so they just went in and had a bad challenge. It wasn't as bad as it looked at in real time, but still, that's just showing you that they were chasing the game the whole time. And then also one thing that comes into mind that I'm trying to do all the negatives first, get those. What was it Dequa in I think it was before the first goal. He had like a one-on-one opportunity. They almost had like a when playing it out of the back goes wrong moment. Vegas did, and Dequa had the ball one-on-one with the keeper, and he just couldn't trap the ball that kind of just landed right in front of him. And the keeper ended up just sliding in and getting it before he could even get a shot off. But that could have been the goal right there for him this game. Don't think you get much better of an opportunity from a mistake from the other team.
Agreed. Yeah, Dequa had another one a little bit later too, where it was trademark Dequa, sort of ball over the top. He controlled it, took it in, and just put it a little bit high. I mean, I think the keeper ended up knocking it over the bar, but he had his chances. It's not like he went missing in this game
for sure
at all. Yeah.
I think Forbes had one of his best games that he's had in a while, though.
Yeah.
Like honestly, he had much more control. He seemed much more calm with his passes. I know there was one mistake where it got past him, or he tripped on top of the ball.
Yeah.
But overall, even his crosses were better than they've been in a hot minute. That was really nice to see. Just him it felt like he was composed in this game, and I'm not sure what changed, but it was definitely a different Forbes for me.
Was it the second goal, the second Kizza goal that even though Failing is the one who shot it over to Kizza, if it wasn't for the ball from Forbes
the pass
right
before the
that.
pass,
the hockey assist, I believe the term got thrown around. He had a great game. I agree.
He also, I was a little bit worried because we've gotten used to Mertz being on set pieces and corners, and it was Kenny who sent in the corner for Ordonez's goal. So yeah, good shot there, Liz. I was a little bit bummed. Well, a couple things. One, my score prediction was 2-0. So when it got to 2-0 so quickly, I was like, okay, let's not make it a bloodbath.
Stop the count.
This is good. We're solid. Rest the guys for Wednesday. No big deal. And then it just kept coming. And actually, I think it was Kenny. Did Kenny get the assist on Griffin's goal too? I think that might have been the case. But anyway, regardless, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for showing me to get on the board. And then I was like, do it. He did it, but it turned out that Kizza was offsides. And so it was a no goal. So really hope that even that, though, at least keeps the confidence going and gets.
He put it in. He put it forward, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It happened for Danny. I mean, he put that one in and got called off for no reason whatsoever. Then the next game he scores again.
I said the only downside to that was it wasn't in front of the Steel Army, so he couldn't do the leap again like he did last week.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of that, Kizza, his first goal, he ran right to the Steel Army, did the his signature ears closed, which kind of looks weird when you're doing it in front of your own fans, but it's his celebration that is he's known for, so it's okay.
I think he might have actually put his hand behind his ears towards us.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think he plugged them. He did. So
I saw that on the second
switched
goal.
it up.
Yeah. Smart. Okay.
He's versatile.
Yeah.
All right.
The man knows what he's doing.
Retract my statement.
One of the other things that I noticed, and I noticed it maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm starting to think that one of Lily's secret weapons really throw the other team off is Dos Santos at center back, because Kev, you mentioned Blackstock. the way those two work together, and there was a moment where Blackstock was like on the edge of the 18, and out of nowhere, you see Dos Santos making a run around him. There are no other center backs in the league that are making that run. Yeah. So if you're trying to like man up and mark people, to know that you have Ordonez and Hogan behind you, and Dos Santos can just tear up the field. And even if the ball doesn't go to him, he is there as an outlet, drawing guys away from Blackstock. Keep an eye on that.
No, he's really turned his season around by the position that he's in. I thought he was vulnerable and struggling when he was the left back when we were playing 4 defenders. But now, if he's part of a kind of a 3 center back unit and he has Blackstock next to him, I think he's been playing really well.
Yeah. It's tough because I think, earlier this season, I think we were talking about Rovi and Biasi and how like standout wingers, and neither one of, I know Rovi's been hurt, but like neither one of them got on the field. No, wait, Biasi came in late. It didn't start. He didn't.
Biasi didn't. I don't think Biasi.
I don't have the game notes in front of me. I was thinking he did because he was in the release video for the new kit, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, Laser and Blackstock have those positions somewhat locked down now. So it'll be interesting to see what team Lily goes with here on Wednesday, and then against Loudon this weekend.
To stay on the topic a little bit, the subs that we brought on, great. Mertz, Ibarra, Zwetsloot, shown me. It's great. If we can just stay away from injuries, and we have really good depth here, and it gives Lily a bunch of tools to play with changing systems around, which he loves doing.
I know Rovi is practicing with the team again, and he should be coming back here soon. But on the subject of the subs, too late for my taste with the Open Cup coming up. I was kind of hoping, like, once we were up by 2 goals, being like, all right, halftime switch. Let's get a whole bunch of, scrubs on there. Let the rest of the guys that we need, rested up for the Open Cup game. I'm not saying it was that much later.
Calling Robbie Mertz a scrub.
I wasn't thinking Robbie Mertz, but okay. But yeah, just in general, the bench players, the B team, get them kind of some minutes there. It would have been nice to start resting players earlier, I thought, with a 2-goal lead and not feeling too worried about the game at that point as far as how we were playing versus them.
I will say it's a positive that Lily was thinking that. There was an interview that he did with Matt Grubba that the Hounds posted online leading up to the game, and he specifically called out, like, we're really focusing on this being 2 games, not just 1, and we're going to make sure that we keep the guys' legs fresh for Wednesday. And so in previous years, and even this year, I think we've questioned how seriously we take the Open Cup, and I think it's clear that at least with an MLS team coming to town, Lily's taking it pretty seriously. So
yeah, I want to disagree with your statement, because I think that it was a cooler evening. It wasn't an incredibly physical game where people were.
Josh's statement. Yeah.
Josh's statement. Josh is wrong.
Yeah.
The lights weren't coming out trying to knock our lights out. Do you know what I mean? Like the hits weren't heavy. And if you're gelling and you're meshing, like Kevin said, the people that we're bringing on as subs, they also have their own play style together and they're used to each other. So unless you're going to do a full switch out, let them have some fun. Let them keep succeeding. And you have a rotation for Columbus, and these guys can sit for those first 45 minutes at least. I think this was the right choice to give everyone more minutes when they're doing really well and having a lot of fun at home.
You could also tell that Lily left Kizza on a little bit longer to give him a shot at the hat trick.
I don't think that's why. Honestly, I don't think that thought ever.
Lily would never.
No, that thought would never cross Lily's mind. We've seen that with who almost got the all-time minutes. I want to say Golden Glove. It was that one year. I can't remember who it was, but it almost got the Golden Glove. And
Kyle Morton?
Yeah, Morton. That's right. And if Bob would have left him in one more game or something like that, he would have gotten it. It was like, nah.
It was like 10 minutes.
No. Sorry, kid, you're out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, that's a good point. What else from this game, guys? This just felt like it felt like a professional win from start to finish. Like we just didn't let them in the game from the first minute, and we just held on to it. And just this is the kind of performance you love to see at home. I know the Lights are like one of the worst teams in the league. I get it, but you got to take care of business.
You can't take like what the commentators from when I was listening to the game. Okay, they make the point of like, okay, they haven't won, but they have drawn against some pretty good teams away. So like, okay, you can take that angle about it. So to put 4 goals past them still is really good. I want to make a note about how I think we're doing a lot better getting players in the box.
Yes,
like earlier in the season, Cross would come in and it's Dequa kind of by himself fighting for a header or something. And, you know, I made a note to watch the highlights and kind of count like how many players we have. 4 players pretty regularly, all kind of crashing the net when a cross comes in. And that's, you know, we get what, 1, 2, at least 2, if not 3, arguably even 4 goals off of just getting play. I mean, Griffin gets his goal by kind of some ricochets.
but he's there. He was there,
exactly.
and Kizza was there too. Yeah,
yeah.
So
the corner, corner's a corner, and but
I mean,
yeah.
I
So
didn't hear Bob yell higher once, so they finally listened. I'll have to pick a new catchphrase.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I tweeted out the same thing. I think it was on Kizza's second goal where he came in for the header, where the cross goes in and it was 4 bodies in the box. And that's something we've been talking about for years. It's just there'd be crosses to no one. So yeah, something is
crosses. I mean, you can't really as a forward wait to see like where the cross is going. You kind of have to just pick your spot and hope that you've played enough with the other player to know where that ball is likely to be delivered and just run to that spot. And so it, with crosses coming in on some level, it kind of becomes a numbers game with just like, okay, if we can put more people in dangerous areas, our probability of scoring goes up.
Well, and especially too, if in this league, you'd like to think that crosses are put exactly where players want them to go. But if you know that you always have a guy going front post, back post, top of the 6, you got a better chance of it. Even if you flub it a little bit, somebody's going to be there to do something with it. Yeah. So yeah, agreed.
Something to note, this was the first time Danny Griffin has been subbed out of a game since October 16th, 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, he's played every minute of every game since he's been a Hound. And
he's slipping.
Yeah, he got subbed out this game. Just saying, there goes his streak.
Yeah.
Granted, he missed half the season because he wasn't playing for us. But every game he's been a Hound, he's played every minute.
Wow.
Since October, 2021.
I don't know if we could call this a streak. I feel like it's a streak. This was another sellout crowd at Highmark Stadium. I think this is what 4 or 5 in a row now.
Yep, 5,100. I think they said.
Something
which is insane. I mean, just a few seasons ago, we were talking about like, when do the Hounds start thinking about expanding seating? Are we ever actually going to sell out? And Kev, I think your point was always if we're consistently at 3/4 capacity, then you think about expanding.
Yeah.
If this keeps up, I mean, this is early season. We typically see some of this, you get into June and July, but I guaranteed the game on Wednesday is going to be a sellout as well. So
be chaos.
I think they already announced it, or no, they have not announced it. That's right. That was this game they announced it right away.
Last week when we were looking at ticket sales, I think that Steve said that there were something like 200 standing room only tickets left, like as of last Wednesday or last Monday. So like, yeah, they're out.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that my mind goes to these places, but like, I would almost take us finishing like 7th if we have like consistent sellouts for the entire season, because I think to me that points to a healthier trajectory of the club, not just the team, in Pittsburgh, if we can regularly sell out home games.
Once
Luckily,
again, to
it's
Liz's
not-
point, you're wishing worse for the team.
I know.
Luckily, it's not one or the other. We
Yeah.
can have both.
Yes. And in fact, one would argue if you get one, you're encouraging the other.
Yes,
So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this summer is going to be a test, right? So June, July, and August all have 3 games apiece. So can we sell out? If we sell out 2 of those 3 games each month, I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 would be great, but that's 9 games in 3 months
Yeah.
that's a tall order.
I'm worried about fatigue. I'm worried about people being like, "Oh, there's
Gotta get
another game this week."
rotated.
Oh, this isn't baseball, is it?
Yeah. I was thinking you meant fatigue for the players. You're talking about fan fatigue, where it's just
fan
like,
fatigue,
yeah,
man. Like obviously players as well, yes,
Although
but
maybe we're lucky in that sense because people keep going to the Pirates games as long as the ticket prices are reasonable.
Yeah.
Our ticket prices are reasonable, so maybe they just want to keep showing up.
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah. It will be interesting, no doubt. Guys, any other thoughts on this one before we move on to? We got 2 games to talk about here coming up.
I do still think we need to work on our passing. We go high a little bit too much. We need to keep it on the ground. We need to make the connections. I don't know what our percentage is for connection. I didn't see, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 70% or something. Or I don't know what's good or bad. Anyways, I think we need better connections. We
The eye
lost
test. Yeah.
we lost the ball a lot. And we got it back, you know what I mean? Like we didn't let him take an opportunity off of it. But that was frustrating to see on an otherwise like remarkable game on a number of ends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, if you believe in Google's numbers, Riverhounds had 74% pass accuracy in this game.
Oh, it wasn't far off.
Yeah. Which is, I would say, pretty average. But I mean, I still think, like Michael, you commented about Liz, your point of like, I think the eye test kind of matters more for that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Great. Well, in terms of how we all predicted this game, I think almost all of us predicted a Hounds win. Only one, Tim Regis Jr., got the score prediction spot on. So good on you for calling a 4-1 win.
Nice.
In terms of the standings, Kev is still at the top with 12 points. This is the problem when we all pick the correct result. Everyone just sort of stay. You get another point, but you kind of stay where you are. But Tim Regis Jr. is just off of this list. I think has 8 points as well. But Kev, you're at 12. Dan Yost moves up at with 10 points. Laura Ellen has 9. And then Devin Pale, Keaton Liebengood, and Michael Finn all have 8. So it is there for the taking for sure. We got 2 games this week. You get your score prediction in for Columbus starting tomorrow morning or whenever you're listening to this, now. And then we have the Loudoun game coming up as well. So this could swing wildly come next Monday. Because we can all just sort of hope and pray that Kev is wrong and someone overtakes him. So as always, make sure that you follow us on Twitter, over on YouTube. YouTube is where you can post the comment to the post with your score prediction. Winner gets 2 free season tickets next year, which who knows what that's going to look like.
Could be in short supply. Yeah.
They could be in short supply at the rate this.
Be sellouts.
Exactly. So yeah, make sure you check it out, guys. The big game. Columbus comes to town this Wednesday. The big news, which had no idea this was coming. So good on the Hounds. I said all offseason surprised me, and this totally surprised me. I was watching the game, and at halftime, out of nowhere, there's a commercial that's highlighting our new 3rd kits, which I no idea it was coming. Looks super professional, especially compared to some of the other, ads that other teams put out there. The kits looked amazing. They picked the right players. Like Ibarra and Dos Santos look like they've been acting for years and like they had the right feel for it. Biasi was good. I'm not, he was good.
He's all right.
He was good. Ibarra looked like he was going to like reach through the screen and knock me out. And yeah, and Dos Santos has some swagger to him. The kits look great. I mean, let's just talk about the kits for a second. Kev, did you see the kits? Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're cool. I mean, I think you play a dangerous game where you really kind of have 2 choices when you release a kit. One, you can go very unusual and unique, which is either a huge payoff or it looks terrible. Otherwise, you're doing minor modifications to stuff that you've done in the past. I think that's what they did here. I think it's fine. I think it looks good. It's clean. I like clean, kind of organized, good color selection. That's what this is. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Liz, what do you think?
I think that they asked for a whiteout so they can sell more of the new kit. That's what I think.
What?
I mean, I know. I like it. It's pretty. I really like it. I'm glad that my custom kit is already white, so I don't have to buy another kit. But I'm still sort of thinking about it. So it's nice in the summer. You wear a light colored kit, life is much easier.
I told you guys before the show started that I was bummed that it's a whiteout because I really don't wear anything that's white. And
just buy a new kit.
That did cross my mind. Like, I literally just told my wife that I was like, I don't really wear kits. Like, I get in this thing where I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I should get that, and then it just sits in a drawer because there's just something about the cut and the feel. It's just almost cotton, like 100%. Josh, what was your take on them?
I'm in the same boat as you. I don't wear jerseys that much, so it's just like I don't know if I really want to, but I do think it looks nice. I'm a little bit worried. I've mentioned this pretty much everywhere now, but I feel like the yellow on white just is so subtle that it's just going to look like a white kit on broadcast. Like you're not going to be able to tell there's a design on there at all. You have to get super close to even tell it's there, which has its merits on its own, but I don't think that's good for the camera. I kind of wish there was a little bit of black outline there, maybe, or maybe in like a double line where it's like a yellow line and like a black line behind it, kind of like overlapping a little bit would be kind of cool. Something unique like that.
So their home jersey,
but like subtle, like not like
okay.
thick, not the same design, but just like a little bit of black in there.
Gotcha.
Just so you can actually see the yellow, make it pop a little bit more.
Gotcha.
Something like that. But yeah, it does look nice. They did the thing again where they only have the design on the front panel, where like the back doesn't have it, the sleeves don't have it. So kind of that's another little thing. I feel like that's just an Adidas thing, maybe. Like yeah. I've noticed that with a lot of theirs. But overall, it looks really cool. I've actually thought about getting that one because Liz has a custom jersey. I was like, I don't have any custom jerseys. I always just don't put a name on the back of it. I'm like, wonder if I should do something on this one.
We need help though, because so I'm your drunk mom, right? Josh, he's not your disappointed dad, but he's just not as much fun as your drunk mom. So
I need a downer name, is what she's trying to say.
It's really hard. You only have so many characters.
Yeah.
Everton fan.
Just right? Yeah. Womp womp.
Just disappointed.
Laser fan club.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
Number one fan.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if anybody has any thoughts as to what Josh should put on the back of his jersey, let us know, because this could be fun.
Oh, boy.
Bodie McBoatface. Here we go. But yes, as we mentioned,
Josh.
Yeah.
Well, the worst ones are coming now. Okay, that's good.
You hope. But yeah, the Hounds did call for a whiteout. So if you're heading down to Highmark on Wednesday, try to wear white, just to sort of make a statement, make a scene, make it look good on camera. And I will pull out some white from somewhere. Guys, Columbus just lost this weekend to the now league-leading Cincy 3-2. So just
when did that happen?
That hurts. Not Columbus losing.
Double pain.
It's just the fact that Cincy's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. I was thinking back to, well, never mind. When Cincy was in our league, just how much I hated them, and they felt sort of like the Man City, where it was just spend. And anyway, that's a whole other thing. Columbus currently sit 8th in the East. They're averaging 1.38 points per game. They have 1 win, 1 draw, and 4 losses away this year. So not particularly the best road team. Josh, hopefully this isn't cutting too deep for you guys, because I know that you're Crew fans. They're giving up 1.3 goals per game while scoring 1.9 goals per game. So keep that in context when we're doing our predictions. And they travel to Nashville on Sunday. Josh, Liz, you guys are Crew fans. What can you tell us about this team? What are your thoughts going into this one? I know you're not really conflicted. You're hoping the home team wins in this one, but what are you thinking?
Unsave the
Griff.
Wow, this is like burn it down.
I'm over it.
The big thing for me is they only use, I think, 2 subs against Cincy. And like, I don't know, I feel like they're taking this game more seriously than I want them to be taking this game. I was kind of hoping they'll be like, oh, Hell is Real's coming. Like, they just got done playing that game. So, like, they're going to give it all and, like, really, try to beat Cincy and just not leave any gas in the tank for the Open Cup. But doesn't look like that's the case. So, I'm not feeling as good about that. But this isn't a great year for them. So, anything's possible. But even not a great year for an MLS team, they're still spending way more money than we are on players, and so it's still going to be David versus Goliath no matter what.
Yeah, now's when I'm kind of annoyed that the preseason game was closed, like completely closed. Like, we just didn't get to see, like, I know that we lost that one, but you didn't get to see, like, how competitive was it? How close were we? I think we're going to get, the problem is Columbus is faster than us. I think that Columbus is much faster than us. And so if we aren't completing those passes and we aren't making sure that they don't grab the ball, especially on the if we reset over the halfway mark and we don't complete that pass, we are going to get punished. And that's my concern.
Hopefully, we'll see. Playing on a smaller turf field can somewhat play to our advantage.
Sure.
Look, that's what I thought too. But like, I don't know off the top of my head. When we say smaller, are we talking like that much?
Kevin's gesturing like 6 inches.
Yeah,
so,
and I don't know. It's like when it plays to our advantage, I'm like, oh yeah, it matters. And then when it potentially, like, yeah, I don't know.
It's not only like that our field is smaller, but I feel like it also just feels a lot smaller to teams. Like it's closed in, confined. Like our stands are a lot closer to the field than a lot of other stadiums. So like even if it's not as much smaller as everyone thinks it is, it feels more like closed in. And I feel like that's also why when you have a packed stadium at Highmark, it feels so good, because like that is like right on top of the field, and it's definitely more in their face than at some of these other stadiums, especially like 30K stadiums and that kind of stuff, where everyone's so far away. It's just like, it's a full stadium, but you don't really have to like see them in your periphery as much while you're going down the sides.
Yeah, and definitely with like us being so close to the keepers, like that's why so many of them end up turning around and they do little waves. Like you can hear the bizarre shit that we're saying all the time, and we will pick something dumb. And the second you twitch, and we're like, oh, he doesn't like blue shoes. That's all we're talking about. So
to your point,
it does make a difference.
There was a player I remember against Vegas where they went to take a throw in, and somebody was on the sidelines talking to him, and you could see him responding to them. Like it was a woman that was like saying something, and she was like leaning around him, and you could see his mouth moving, like acknowledging that she was there and saying something back to her. So
there was some little kid with a Venezuela, and he just had it like right at the other guy's face as he's like doing a throw in, or it might have been a free kick. I can't remember which one. It was so funny. I wish I would have screenshot that. I was watching the game at work, and I just turned over and I looked at the game, and I see this little kid just like blowing a Venezuela right at the guy's face. I'm like, that's great.
Josh, do you guys expect traveling crew fans to show up for this one?
Yeah, so they actually did a bus. They've been doing signups for the Noron Tour is the name of the Nordeca. So the Noron Tour bus. And I think they sold out this morning. So they have like all the people they can fit on a bus coming in. I'm expecting probably over 100 supporters coming. I mean, it's a closest game they're probably having, other than how far away is Cincy from Columbus? I don't even know. But
I feel like
it's comparable.
It's shorter. Yeah.
So like this is going to be one of the closest games they can get to for away support. So it's going to be pretty big for them. Kudos on them. They did one cool thing. Their bus tickets included the ticket price, the bus, and then also Permani Brothers. Like, they're like tailgate not sponsored, but catered by Permani Brothers. I'm like, well, you know what? You're coming to Pittsburgh, do the full package, get Permani Brothers at tailgate. That's pretty smart.
One thing before we get to predictions here, if you're planning on going to the game and you have not already purchased a ticket for the main parking lot, you're going to have to park somewhere else because they have sold out That was one of those things that as I was ordering my ticket, they were like, do you want a parking pass? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? And now I'm like, oh, great. Cool. So yes, it's going to be packed. So
yeah. And if that is the case, you can still park in another parking lot, like the one on the other side of the stadium or the parking garage there, and then walk over to our tailgate. Like we'll have, plenty of space available for people to hang out. We're expecting people to start showing up around, some people noon. Like most people I think are going to be closer to like 2 to 4 p.m. like a normal away game or a normal weekend game. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
I got to wait till kids get off the bus. So the earliest I can leave here is 4, and I'm hoping with rush hour we're there by 5:30, but we'll see.
Oh, I hear your kids coughing. They
I
sound
know, right?
They sound like they're not going to make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sucks. See you at 2.
Yes. Guys, anything else on this game before we give some score predictions?
Well, I mean, I know
let's go.
Historically, Columbus, they generally finish pretty high in the Eastern Conference, right? At the end of
lately, yes. Like they're a pretty good team as of late. They've had, this team's been around for so long. It's one of the first clubs in MLS, so they've had some ups and downs over the years. But yeah, these
in
last couple
recent
years,
history, right?
No, wait.
Yeah.
That said, real quick, isn't Columbus were they 96?
Yeah,
and we were 99.
Yeah.
So only 3 years later. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I know I was just saying that someone made this point earlier. I forget it, but yeah, I mean, they are mid-table right now in the Eastern Conference. I don't know. I mean, sometimes if you're a team that expects, to have a very good season and finish close to the top of the table, and if you're mid-table and you have a midweek game and an Open Cup where you're really not maybe prioritizing it that much, I took a quick glance against their lineup against Loudoun and kind of compared it to more recent lineups they had in MLS games. It definitely looked like they did full sale changes against the Loudoun team. So, will they do that against us? I don't know. But
listen, not to plant any seeds for them, but you don't want to put your starters out there. They could turn an ankle on the turf, ruin your seat. You're in 8th, you're only a few spots above the playoff line.
Feels very, wink, wink, putting the head out on someone.
Honestly, that was my comment earlier. Was the fact that the turf field that can play a big role in a lot of players, especially players who don't usually play on turf.
There are players that refuse to play on turf.
Yeah.
So
was it Drogba when he was playing for
Phoenix? That's
right. He refused to play on. Yeah, he's the worst. You're right. He is the worst. But still, I wonder if that will come into play here.
Is it really that different to twist an ankle?
It's because there's no give on turf. If you get your cleat stuck in the turf, it's not like it's gonna rip up like a piece of dirt will on a regular field. So you can do some damage if you're not used to playing on turf. So it's it's harder on the legs, harder on the feet. It's definitely
all of your joints.
Yeah.
It's way easier to just plant your foot and for it to stick. So your knees, your hips, your ankles are.
Why are we playing on turf?
Grass is expensive. You have to keep on watering that and managing it. And turf, you just lay down and be like, cool. And turf will hold up to multiple sports. So if we want Highmark Stadium to be a multi-sport venue where they're playing football, they're playing lacrosse and ultimate frisbee. You don't want it to be ripped up.
I think also before we had Montour Junction, you were doing you were doing all of your practices on, you had to use it every single day of the week. Now, when this field reaches its end date, will we switch to grass? I don't think it's impossible. I give 50-50 odds.
What is the training complex right now? What are they using?
Turf.
I assume turf. Yeah.
Inside it's turf. They have some grass outdoor field as well. So
that's good.
Yeah. Let's do some score predictions. Josh, I'm going to start with you. How does this game end up?
I'm voting with my heart here. I'm putting it forward. I'm not going to be trying to hedge this one. I'm saying 2-1 Hounds.
Oh man, Liz.
That's what I'm going to say.
2-1 Hounds,
but in overtime.
Don't get extra points for that.
Why not?
I am worried that this is going to end up going to extra time and then
I think we're
potentially
gonna go to extra
shootouts.
time.
And
Worried,
yeah.
please.
Not
I would
shootouts,
be.
not shootouts.
I would be over the moon if we push Columbus to extra time. That'd be great.
Listen, we beat New England in New England, who at the time were the best team in the MLS. So there's no saying we can't do this. Kev,
no,
what are you taking then?
No, I really think it's like a coin flip between a 2-1 win or a 2-1 loss. I will take a 2-1 loss to balance it out. But yeah.
Lame.
Lame.
Sorry. Yeah, good job, Kev.
I am going to say a 3-2 Hounds win.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. I think
that is going to be stressful.
It's going to be stressful, but it's going to be nuts, and the fans are going to lose their absolute shit whenever the Hounds win. And yeah,
Liz is a bad influence on you.
She is a very bad influence. Yes, this is very true.
That's true. I mean, I feel like if the Hounds win, like you got to believe you're crashing the field, right? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
It's so easy.
I know it's easy. I'm just saying I don't want.
We're gonna have so many new people who are gonna be so excited.
They let us on the field after the game every game. We don't need to crash the field. We'll get on there eventually.
But here's the real question: if we rush the field, does Lily stop his guys? Like, all right, fine, you can have them. Or is he like, make a circle? I'm like, back off. I'm doing my thing.
Yells at some little kid to go sit down.
Picking them up, and he's just like putting
it
them
won't be
over
the kids. It's going to be like all of the college kids between the ages of 23 and 30. Those are the kids rushing the field.
I know, but the smart move is to open the gate for the little kids, so that way you can't get yelled at because the kids are also on the field.
Yeah,
so they're your cover.
You know what? Sure, because we're smart. When we've been drinking since noon, we're definitely going to go that route.
Jeff Garner is watching this right now, just going, "Please stop! Just please, like, stop talking. Just end it." Yeah, yeah. So that's what we think. Let us know what you think. Head over, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube. The comments only count in YouTube, but the post will be there tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Tuesday, whenever you hear this. Go, add your score prediction. 3 points if you get the score dead on. 1 point if you pick the right result. No points if neither. So after this game, guys, we have to face Loudoun on the weekend. After starting out pretty hot, it seemed like Loudoun was all over the highlight videos for the first few weeks, and everyone was like, wow, Loudoun are legit. They've now lost their last 5 games, including most recently a 2-0 loss to Fraudford, who are currently tied for last place in the East with Detroit. So not doing too well. They are 2-3-1 at home, which is where they will be this Sunday, 6 p.m. kickoff. It is not a Saturday game. It is a Sunday game at 6 p.m. The only former Hound on the team is Tommy Williamson. He's got 2 goals and 11 appearances. He was one of the ones on the highlight reels early on this season. Seems to have fallen off a little bit. How much do we really think that the midweek game against the Crew is going to impact how we approach this one? Kev, what are you thinking?
I don't think much. I don't know. I mean, maybe with some personnel changes, because he'll go strong against Columbus. Wednesday to Sunday is a good amount of time. Wednesday to Saturday is a little more difficult. We have an extra day. So
we're also home on Wednesday, so like you don't have to travel back. Yeah.
I mean, and it's earlier-ish in the season, so I don't see the Columbus game affecting the Loudoun preparation too much. There's going to be energy and adrenaline coming off of that game. Really, either you're getting it in the buildup, and even if you lose, which we won't, but you'll have energy coming off of that game. So no, I don't think there's any effect.
I love how you predicted a 2-1 loss.
Yeah, I was
and we were just like, we're not going to lose.
See, this is I can never be wrong, right?
That's not how that works. You will be wrong.
This is how Kevin works. I don't know if you know this. It's not how life works.
My world. You're just living in it. All right.
Okay.
Liz, are you at all worried about Loudoun?
No, I mean, technically, we will see rotation and changes. That's going to be technically true because we are playing these 2 games. We've known about the game for 2 weeks now. I think that from the moment we knew that we were going to have another game, that we were going to play an MLS team, Lily started talking about, okay, this is how we're going to make it work over this span of games. And so the guys are already prepared. And, I mean, this is one of Lily's biggest strengths, is that he expects people to be able to fill in different areas, to change formations. And so even though that we're going to have the rotation, it's nothing that's surprising to anyone. Maybe they've only practiced this once or twice, but over these past 2 weeks, they've done it every day. And so we're going to make it happen.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised too if you do see changes. It could very well be down to not even just like tired legs, but Lily looks at Loudon and sees X and Y weaknesses and thinks we need these players to play in these positions or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be that. It's also going to be, I feel like, depending on how the Columbus game goes. Like, does it go into, overtime? Does it, how the players look after that game? I feel like it's going to be a call after that game, and it's not going to be really a known, like, he doesn't have a solid, this is who's going to play this game. This was going to play this game. Because I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of players for the Columbus game, like a lot of rotation, just because I feel like it's going to be everyone gets a chance to go up against them and get in there. Like, especially, I mean, if we're losing, I got a feeling it'll be like let everyone play who can.
You mean especially when we're winning?
Yes, that's also a possibility.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, another quick thing about the Open Cup game is a tweet just came out that we are going to be on local television for the Open Cup.
Nice.
It's going to be on CBS News Pittsburgh, the CW, and CBS Sports.
Wow.
Lazo, I don't know. And also Pluto TV, Paramount Plus, CBS News apps. Yeah. So going to be in a lot of places, but that's good to know.
That's awesome. Getting on those, prime, 2, 4, and 8, or 2, 6, and 4, 2, 4, 6, whatever. KDK, CBS, TAE. I know, but I'm saying, there are people. I'm specifically talking about like my parents and like in-laws that will traditionally just turn on the TV, and what's ever on one of those main channels is like, oh, this is interesting. So how many more fans do you pick up just because it's on CBS? When you turn it on and you're expecting 60 minutes or something else. I don't know. So
you're like, okay, there's Family Feud. What's on next? Oh, this looks like fun.
Exactly.
Stick around.
Exactly. So
Pittsburgh has a soccer team? That's
what?
Hey, our DJ knew that Pittsburgh had a soccer team
at the wedding.
Yeah, I tried to get him to play Hooked on a Feeling. I was like, the local soccer team just won, and he's like, oh, the Riverhounds. I was like, oh, you knew. And then he didn't play my song, and so I don't like it. He's ignored me.
It's like, oh yeah, the Riverhounds, cool.
No.
I'll get it on there. And then nothing else. Like, come on, man.
No name check for him either.
He was the assistant to the DJ, by the way. The DJ was a woman. She was awesome.
Nice. One thing I will just say about this game and about Columbus, you look at Vegas, and who would have ever thought that we'd be in a position where you're bringing in Robbie Mertz and Mark Ibarra as like subs, and we've talked for years about, do we actually have any depth? What is our depth? And I think we talked about it last week. You could make a legitimate argument for 14, 15, 16 of these guys to be starters week in and week out. And so that's a really good place to be. I think that against Columbus, you actually have a chance to bring on like fresh legs that could impact the game in ways that we just couldn't do previously. And I think that bodes well for Loudon as well, where I do think that there are going to be some guys that maybe you would expect to get the start in Loudon and they won't because they've just ate up a lot of minutes in Columbus. But you're going to have guys like the Danny Griffins that are just going to play pretty much every minute unless Lily drags them off the field. So
we got really lucky. We got lucky with who we're playing before and after this Open Cup game, because it is a tight schedule. But I mean, playing Vegas hasn't won a game, and then playing Loudon tied for last place in the East. Like it's, everyone was like, Vegas is a trap game. It's a trap game because, the Open Cup and everyone's getting ready for it. And they're so bad that they could be sneaky good or like, a one-off chance. So hoping Loudon's another one of those situations where we get what we expect to get, which is not a very good team playing against us.
And not looking ahead and not jinxing things, knock on wood, but I don't know when the next round is. I do know that as we start getting into June, we got 2 close games against Louisville. You got Tampa in there. So that's not going to be the story moving forward. So take advantage of it now and get some rest and get the win on Wednesday.
But we will have a lot of home games. So whenever it is, there's
That's
the
true.
possibility that we won't have a lot of double travel, which can be a big benefit.
Yep. Let's do some score predictions for Loudon. Kev, I'll start with you since you can never be wrong.
I'll go 2-1 Hounds.
2-1 win.
No, I don't like that.
Now stop.
I'll go 1-1.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay.
got worse.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
2-0
2-0 win.
Hounds. Yeah.
We're not getting
Okay.
a shutout.
Liz.
Clip this and then
Why
play
is
it when we
Josh
do.
taking my score predictions? It's so rude. 3-0 Hounds, just because I don't want to do the same score as Josh again.
I will say, I'm going to say 3-1 win.
Just the reason why I'm saying 0 is because I feel like Jamal Wade deserves that shutout. Like, he's gotten so close the last couple games, and especially this last game. It's just like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
There was got that shutout, and he's a great keeper, and so I'm hoping for more shutouts for him.
Yeah, there was nothing he
we
could
like
do.
to mock Loudon, and like we have a bit of a rivalry there just because they're close. So I think that like gets the players more amped up. We have people traveling for the game.
Yeah.
So you'll have the home support. You'll see them, down there for you. So I think that really helps.
Yeah, no, for sure. I forgot, guys, to put the table up on the screen because last week was the first week to do it. So here you go. Charleston are still at number 1 with 21 points. We are currently tied for second. Tampa, Louisville, and Pittsburgh all sitting on 17 points. So this Loudon game, you get something out of it. You got a shot of, potentially holding on to second all by yourself, depending on how Louisville and Tampa shake out. And then right beneath us, you've got Birmingham, who are on a 4-loss streak. They also have an Open Cup game this week. We realistically could be the last USL team left in the Open Cup after this week. We shall see. Followed by Memphis, Indy, and Miami. That rounds out your playoff positions. Loudon, Tulsa, Fraudford, and Detroit City bringing up the rear at the bottom of the Eastern Conference.
Hate to see it.
I was going to say, if you look at like the teams that we likely hate the most, the fact that Detroit and Hartford are tied for last, now all we need is Indy to just sort of drop below that line, and it'll just be, chef's kiss, perfect season. So
can all teams be in last place but us? Is that possible?
It'd be nice.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was hoping.
Yeah. That is what we think. Let us know what you think. Anything else that you guys want to talk about in this one?
It's an exciting week. I'm just excited.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really looking forward to Wednesday. It's gonna be a lot of. I gotta find something white to wear. So,
surely you have like a Fruit of the Loom white T-shirt or something, right?
I might. Over the years, my kids have just
Building.
like taken them because like they'll wear them like for whatever, and so
Just
I literally
get a white shirt, Sharpie, hound them, or like go Hounds or something like that. We want the cup, and there you go. You're peachy keen.
cool.
Just go find zinc sunscreen, slather it up, boom.
Nobody
go.
wants to see
Ready.
that, Liz. Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
Chaos.
Trust
Let's
me.
go.
Will they let you into the head? I mean,
Shirts come off in the SEAL
Oh,
Army all
yeah.
the time.
again,
Yeah,
Jeff
it's
Garner's
fine.
covering his ears right now, saying
Nah,
like,
it's fine.
don't encourage people to come into the stands without clothes on.
I mean, even if they come in with clothes on, people
Right.
take them off all the time.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
Good to
fine.
know. So, all right. Hopefully, we see everybody down at Highmark on Wednesday. See a big
Yeah,
win.
Kevin.
It's gonna be great.
Taylor Swift's going to be there. You should come.
Yeah, you should totally come.
I'm just trying to entice you. I figure that's the only thing
if
that's
she's
getting you to
gonna be
Pittsburgh.
there,
You can see the field that she'd be performing
Well,
on
it's funny.
from Highmark.
Riley even mentioned that. She's like, I wonder if like at Highmark you could hear. I was like, probably not. Like that's too far
Look
away.
at, she's giving
but-
you a lifeline, and you are shutting it
Yeah,
down.
you should have said, I bet you can. You can
Yes.
totally hear it the whole time.
Even if you can't, the point is there are some of us who are talking about going to the point and sitting there to listen to the concert and like have a little moment at the fountain.
You know what we should do? I was talking about a few episodes back. like we should do something to try to raise money for charity. We should see how much money we can raise to the point that Kevin would feel guilty that money is not going to charity. He has to come up for a game.
He's just hating this right now.
If he doesn't come up for charity,
if he doesn't come up, all the money gets returned.
But if he comes up, nightmare.
On some level, that just makes you a terrible person.
Only if you think about it logically, Kevin. Yeah. And we've established if you can live in your world, we can live in ours.
That's true.
Or we do something where like Kevin picks his charity of choice.
And then we tell him no.
And then we send them a letter saying we were going to give you this money, but Kevin didn't come up for a game, so we gave it to this other charity instead.
No, I think that still makes us the dick. But yeah, okay, we'll talk about it later.
Can we take the charity money and rent a boat and sit on the river to listen to the T Swift concert? That's the real
you're just
question.
a jag-off at this point. This is all going downhill.
I think there's something to this. We got to figure out the right key to it. But I think there's some peer pressure here where if Kevin knew that X amount of dollars would be going to charity if he showed up, he'd show up. So he'd sacrifice it and make the trip.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like,
okay, all right, good.
That out. Like, I don't know. Like,
you find the pressure point and you squeeze. So now we just need to key in on it and squeeze.
We're asking the wrong person. We just gotta talk to her and have get
Riley,
her to say,
Riley,
come
let
on.
us know. What is that pressure
She
point?
doesn't listen to this podcast. Come on. She doesn't listen to Kevin talk enough as it is.
No. I'm gonna text Riley as soon as this is over. Absolutely. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you get over to Highmark Stadium, catch the game on Wednesday, root for the Hounds against Loudoun, make the trip to Loudoun if you can, enter your score predictions, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.